Boats and hose. Boats and hose. Motherfucking boats and hose. That was good. That was really good.
Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Krusty's Third Nipple. Podcast is unnecessary as my new Fitbit is going to be as soon as these pubs open again. My name's Kieran and I'm joined as ever by Darren.
Hello.
And Tarig. This episode is all about Birdman, not Tarig's old flatmate, but the 2014 Oscar winner starring Michael Keaton. Before that, we're going to share what we've been watching over the last 2 weeks, and I turn quizmaster once more as Darren takes on Tarig for bragging rights. So we'll open the show with you, Tarig. You've been watching an awful lot this past 2 weeks, you were saying?
Yeah. Christ, I didn't realise how much I'd actually been watching until I had a quick kind of type up some of the stuff. So I've got a few different bits and bobs to go on while I've been kind of jumping back and forth between keeping Bella busy from her schoolwork and stuff like that. She came running through to us shouting, "Oh, Dad, I need to find out how to do my Jewish homework." And I was like, "What are you on about your Jewish homework?" And then I just got caught on something else in work. And I was like, "Right, I'll just go back to this later." And then she came running through and she said, "Dad, how do the Jewish write this stuff?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" No, I just went, I went through, like, so what have you got to do? What's this Jewish stuff that you're learning about? Is it something about the Nazis or that? She was like, no, it's the Jewish poetry. Poetry's Jewish, isn't it? I was just like, no.
Not exclusively.
Not exclusively, but no. We'll label it. But yeah, after dealing with her work and stuff, I managed to watch a few movies. The first one that I'll jump right into was Raya. So Raya is the new one that was on Disney Plus.
Okay.
It's just came out. I think it was just at the weekend there that it was released. And it's Raya the Last Dragon. That's what it was called. Sorry, I couldn't remember what the title was.
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Raya and the Last Dragon. So Raya is a wee girl that lives in this world where dragons and humans live together, and dragons have all the magic, and the world's all nice and hunky-dory and rainbows and everything. And then this plague comes around, and the dragons and the humans are fighting to get rid of this plague, and it wipes out all the dragons and turns them to stone. And then the plague disappears, and Raya's a warrior's daughter who's getting trained up to keep tabs on this magical stone that's got all the dragon magic that keeps the plague away. But something happens and it breaks, and then the plague comes back, and Raya's dad gets turned to stone. So this is all within the first short little bit of time, and then it just follows her. It's a really good kind of feel good Disney movie. Kids absolutely loved it. We tend to have a movie night on Saturday nights, and we get the whole cinema room planned out and stuff like that. And they wanted to watch it straight as soon as it finished. They wanted to put it back on and watch it again. They liked it that much. So, it's no really that many big name voice stars from what I had a quick look at. But it's bright, it's vibrant. There's a good underlying story that keeps the kids engaged. And no, not too many adult jokes that you would normally get in some of the Disney movies. But
yeah.
I would say definitely get the kids on it.
Disney's hit the mark again.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, do they?
Turn these out.
Yeah, exactly. Should start up a movie empire.
Laz, you want to take one?
So I was kind of stuck for movies this week. I didn't. I ended up watching 3. but it's mostly just people kind of come towards me and say, "Hey, want to watch a movie together?" So the first one was my mum, and she's been kind of talking about this film for a while, and it's on Netflix. The Green Mile, Stephen King. A big one, a big, big hearty 3 hours.
Michael Clark Duncan, yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for this. So on you go.
The big trip down. I could fill an episode itself, but I watched it with my mum, and it's all I knew was a prison. So I was thinking it's another Shawshank. It was quite some ways, but from the other side of the line, I suppose. But so it's about kind of Tom Hanks, and he's this prison guard on death row, or they call it the Green Mile, and there's a big crime that's happened, and it ends up with two little girls being killed, and who they've got for it is this ginormous man. I was like, monster of a man comes in, and John Coffey is his name, and they've got him for the supposed crime, and so Tom Hanks has his own set of problems. I think he's got some for kidney stones or something, and then that's going on, and other inmates are in there. There's Billy the Kid, there's the French guy, and there's also a little mouse that's also running about the cell.
Mm.
And while that's going on, there's this kind of nephew of a governor that's on the Green Mile, the worst character to exist ever.
Well, we think he is.
Hate him. Whoever you most hate character in cinema is right now, it's no longer going to be after you watch this film. Because I forgot his name, but that guy's just the worst. And he's kind of getting in there, and you find out he can, with his connections, he can work anywhere he wants, but he's chosen this just to kind of get his kicks. And, it's, as I said, it's on death row, so it's not always sunshine and rainbows. It can get pretty ugly sometimes, but the more you learn about the characters and how it kind of all comes to be in the end, it's a movie I just ended up tearing up at several times as well. I wasn't ready for this one. How'd you do? I thought we were going to get some
Did she warn you
action,
before?
some joke. No, she was just kind of like going with an empty mind and strapping, from what I remember. There wasn't any, here's some tissues in case you feel sad.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, honestly, I don't want to say too much about it because that could be a movie we could discuss in the future.
To be fair, I don't think many of our listeners will be spoiled by anything. I think everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
It's fair to say, yeah.
I think I'm kind of over the hill with it that then.
It was in 90s or just early
1999
probably. 1999.
Aye.
Yeah, and
if you have seen it,
we talk about.
Yeah, if you have seen it, I recommend watching it again. And some moments are just kind of.
It's one of them films. As soon as it's on, if you're flicking through and it's on, you can't get away from it.
It's like a saga.
You watch it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a normal movie's journey. After a normal movie, you're like, oh, that was alright. After this one, you feel
so many
characters.
So many emotional bits in it.
Yeah.
It kind of goes up and down all the time.
Because Michael Clark Duncan in it was probably just at his latter stage of his career, or just kind of where he's starting to peak, maybe, because he could done that, and then Armageddon probably, and
I don't know much else. Like we talked about him being on Friday.
Friday. He was playing craps.
But he's uncredited in that. He's just another guy.
Definitely seen him in a few other films, but that's his two big ones, is it? Green Mile was.
He's also in. He's in that Ben Affleck Daredevil as Kingpin.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that.
I haven't seen it, but all I've heard from that movie is how great he is in it. Everything else is shocking.
He's in a shitload of stuff, yeah. Okay, but I mean, this is if it's not his peak, this is his most well-known role.
Yeah.
He acts circles around everybody else, and there's this up against Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
and that's a very hard thing to do.
No, you don't get much bigger than a acting kind of battle with Tom Hanks.
David Morse, Tarig from I completely forgot what it's called. The New Orleans Hurricane Katrina thing.
Treme.
He's the, you know how there's I can't remember what he plays, a cop maybe, but his daughter's like right into the music scene, and his wife,
right.
His wife's got the big curly hair. I'm sure he's in that.
I think, but if he's, I must have missed him. If he
plays Lieutenant Terry Colson in Treme.
Right, got you.
Yeah.
Aye. Yeah.
Right, I'll go for one. I'll pick my film, seeing as you guys have picked films there. I've seen three things, pretty much. One of them is a film. It's Escape from Pretoria, which is based on, I think it was on Netflix, but it could have been Amazon. Based on the real life prison break, these two political captives set in South Africa in the days of apartheid, and plants. I'm just reading something that's on my desk. Well, plants. It lays out the scene of apartheid, and the kind of narrative is that it was white people who did nothing, which was kind of one of the things that let it go, that kept it going. And so these kind of middle class white guys took it upon themselves. They were known as the leaflet bombers. So they set these bombs in the middle of this busy city centre. But they were nothing like dangerous. But what they did is they put leaflets into the sky, into the air, and so then it had obviously their propaganda or political message on it, and spreading that amongst these. It was a white village. It was a white part of town at least, and so they got jailed, and they got 8 and 12 years for that. So they end up in this fucking ramshackle 70s.
Just for littering, basically.
No, but you know it means much more than that. I mean, the judge says something like, you've let down your race and you've let down your country, or you've betrayed your all this, right? So, and then obviously they go to an all-white jail where everybody knows them as the Mandela fuckers or something like that. But so they set about escaping. From the minute they get in, they set about escaping. And as I said, it's a ramshackle prison, so that's a lot of these kind of like, it's not high tech like nowadays anyway. But two things kind of struck me at the start of it is, one, it's Daniel Radcliffe. It's maybe not the type of film I'd expect him to be in, but he looks like he's fucking bulked up. He looks pretty rough. Like, he's still really, really skinny, but
jacked up.
Yeah, it's weird. He wears this really like tight-fitting top, and then obviously the flares and the boots, like is this the 70s kind of get up, but it's weird. He looks like if he's roided. And another one is it was PG-13, right? So it's, I'm like, well, how bad's this or good's this film going to be with that rating? You're set in a prison, so you've got the fear factor and all this sort of thing. He's trying to escape from it. I don't know. But what I will say is the pacing was good. The tension was all there. It didn't affect it really. There was a couple of bits of violence in there that you were like, oh yeah, that's pretty bad, but nothing brutal. No blood was shed, all that. Not really. But I didn't need that. I still found myself engrossed in it. To right to the end, so I won't spoil anything. It's only about an hour and a half. Surprise yourself. Give yourself a wee surprise and watch that. That's what I would say.
Is it based on true events then? Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of giving it the lower rating could be like, we'll get this into schools, kind of like the English.
Potentially. That's a good idea.
like Mice and Men and all the other standard movies that you got in English class. Where they knew you were too daft to read the story, so they put the movie on for the dumb class.
That's me.
That's how I knew all them movies, mate. Well,
there's a guy
visual learners.
There's a guy in the jail who kind of like takes him under his wing, and he was arrested as part of like when Mandela was. So he was part of that scene. So he was like a godfather to them when they went in. Everything he said, he had these like disciples in there, and it was hardly Oz, which I caught of a half an hour of the other day. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I never watched it from the start and all the way through.
Right, but brutal that is.
Always, I was always kind of in and out.
It's hardly that, but as I said, it's worthwhile watching.
Do you hold that as like the pinnacle of kind of prison movies or prison kind of drama?
Probably. It's better than Prison Break.
Oh fuck! Not even.
But then we've just talked about we've just talked about a belter of one, the Green Mile. So
yeah,
I don't know. They're all different. I think this has its place, like you said.
More true to form.
Yeah. If you're going to be brutal, then do it properly. do it all style.
Right. You cool with that one?
That's me.
Yep. Right, I'll go on to my next movie that I just watched the other day. I mentioned it a couple of episodes ago that I was looking forward to this coming out. It was Coming to America. So the first one I loved. I loved because I remember watching it back in the early 90s, and when I was watching it, it was quite early before we were going to school. My brother was eating his cornflakes, and the guy singing at the start of it almost choked my brother to death with laughter on his cornflakes. So that was the kind of pinnacle of the movie. It was so funny, my brother almost died. So we couldn't wait for Coming to America to come out. And yeah, it was brought back the whole age of when the first film came out. So it was Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall. I had a couple of extra characters chucked in there, as you would expect from a sequel. We've got Tracy Morgan, Wesley Snipes, and the cameos were just flowing like nobody's business. So Morgan Freeman, James Earl Jones, he was in the first one, but there was just Salt and Pepper and different singers and things like that. So you blink and you miss some. But it was this simple premise. There's nothing much to the movie as in storyline. It's Prince Hakeem's needs his heir to the throne, who he pumped the girl back in Queens when he was back there on the first movie, and he's got a son. He needs a son to come in and marry the neighbouring general's daughter, so that the two countries can trade together peacefully. So dead simple premise. And yeah, it was a couple of smile laughters, nothing hilarious, but it brought it back to where it was previously. The good thing about it was it's got the same type of structure as Coming to America, Trading Places, Ghostbusters. So all those films that were kind of intertwined. So
Ghostbusters?
You had Murphy. Well, yeah, Ghostbusters, because what's his name from Trading Places? Dan Aykroyd.
Right.
So Dan Aykroyd in Trading Places, he went into Ghostbusters, and even in Ghostbusters 2, I think it is, there's 1 or 2 where he goes and drops off money. It's the first one, actually. And there's 2 old guys in 2 homeless old guys, and he gives them some money, and then they stand up and they say, "Oh, we're back," and that's the Dukes, the Duke and Duke from Trading Places, who placed the bet on Eddie Murphy.
Oh, okay.
So it's also, there's loads of wee kind of
I didn't realise that.
crossovers with this. And this brings it into it as well, because he's near the start, he's heir to the throne. He goes away for a job interview, and he's interviewing this white guy, and he's putting on his white voice, and he's trying to get his way through this interview, and it pans up to a picture behind him, and it's the Dukes from Trading Places, and he says, "Oh yeah, they're my uncles, or they're my granddads, or something. That's my family." So that's kind of bringing it all into it as well.
Oh, okay.
All the one big kind of universe that they've got ongoing. I wouldn't say it's a must watch, but I would say if you liked the original and you liked any of the films that I've just mentioned, get it on. It'll bring you right back to where you were when you first watched them. And yeah, it's good, feel good. Go for it. Over to you, Dasmond.
Oh, right, my second out of 3 movies I watched was Us. Saw it on Netflix, and I'd heard a lot about this movie. Obviously, Jordan Peele is back at it again, and I really quite like Jordan Peele movies I've seen. They're really kind of high concept, and if the premise doesn't kind of get you, the movie will, and it's always like a kind of breath of fresh air with horror. And so the movie kind of starts with this little girl and her mum and dad, and the dad's had at this kind of boardwalk, Santa Cruz, and the dad's had a few, and the mum's kind of annoyed and has to go to the toilet, and she asks the dad to keep an eye on the girl, and and he's just kind of too interested with the whack-a-mole, so she starts walking and wandering away off the boardwalk onto the beach and into this kind of run down hall mirrors that no one uses anymore. And if she goes in there, and after a couple of scares, she finds another little girl looks exactly like her, and then after that jumps forward with her all grown up and her family going back to that place, and so she's got a husband, a son, and a daughter, and they go there just to kind of holiday with their rich white family friends. So there's like a rich white family's coming with them, and so then after a day they're at the beach, and her son goes missing, and so all the fears kind of rush back to the mum, and she thinks that the same thing happened to her son, but happened to him, but yeah, thankfully nothing did. But this kind of almost kept in shadows and the mystery what happened to the mum when she was younger, until that night when they spot like a family just standing in their driveway, and so the dad tries to put on a sense of false bravado and tried to tell him to piss off, essentially, and it doesn't work. So he goes in and tries to get the bat, and it might have not scared a lot of people, but he goes out and he said, "Okay, if you want to get crazy, let's get crazy with the bat." And you see the 4 shadows, and then all of a sudden they just split up and they just run in 4 different directions, and it's like, oh crap, they're in for it now. And I don't know, I like the horror when I can see it, and so when they just kind of scattered, it's like I no longer know where these 4 threats are, and they've obviously got some sort of game plan. But it's not spoiling to say they get into the house and they realize that so their family is like doppelgangers of the family, and they're almost like kind of evil twins. And so I'll kind of stop it there, but there's quite a lot of kind of good kills in this, and you don't want to think too hard about the kind of what actually kind of realities of all these evil twins are, but it's really interesting, and it's good. It's a good watch. I don't think I'd kind of sniff at it.
So this also came
it's great
after.
actresses.
This obviously came after Get Out, didn't it? Which was Jordan Peele's directing debut, and where does it kind of rank for you up to that? Because I
It's
thought Get Out was
a bit
tremendous.
different.
Just before you go ahead, Darren, I've not seen Get Out, so don't spoil anything on that.
Oh no!
So that's one that I'm definitely
Well, you
going
need
to
to
go back
start
and watch.
watching Get Out.
Yeah,
You need to watch that then. Well, they're kind of two different movies. This is more of a horror kind of slasher feel.
Right. Okay.
But Get Out, it's kind of more of a commentary / like some action. I think Get Out's the better movie, I suppose. But I think I had more fun watching Us.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not always fun to watch Get Out, if you know what I mean.
No, because it almost hits the nail on the head too much at times, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be uncomfortable,
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's one that I've just never had a chance to get around to watching.
Yeah,
that Us song's quite good as well, actually. We'll do Get Out first.
It's a bit of fun.
I'm gonna hit you with my documentary for this week. It was Banksy and the Rise of Outlaw Art on Sky Arts. Now, this was a 2-hour piece, so goes quite detailed on a lot of things. I really enjoyed it. Starts with the history of graffiti, in New York, being part of the hip hop scene there. And what it talks about is how it gave people access to art that weren't necessarily in the usual galleries and all that sort of thing. It was free, it was public, and it was relatively easy to do. So really accessible. And you had these guys that were tagging like subway trams, and they would just say, like, I seen my tram go past the other day. They owned it. As soon as they tagged it, it was there. So, that whole sense of, like, this is mine, they're taking ownership of your area and everything like that. Was great. So then it moves to the UK, and specifically Bristol, which is where Banksy is from. And there's one kind of social worker, youth worker, who has a youth club, and they've got this concrete pitch, football pitch, sports pitch, and he allows them to just graffiti there as much as they want. So that becomes a kind of hub for that scene. But then they grow out of that, and they start tagging trains and all that, going there, and there was a major police crackdown where became this when, like, Thatcher was in, and any sort of, like, I know. Any sort of signs that you were being fucking not part of the nobility, but then you were cracked down, you went to jail, threatened with all these sort of fines and shit. So put it really underground. And then after that, it was only really the hardcore guys that still did it, went out at night and started doing these elaborate things. And that's where Banksy grew into that. That's where he started following these people about. So he just grows into that sort of scene, that part of history. And I starts asking them, can I do this? Can I do that? And they were like, eventually, all right, okay, you've got that space of wall. And he does something. They're like, oh, that's pretty good, actually. Like, they are really strict to the nobility of graffiti. You've got to tag your name. You can't use a stencil. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You can't even buy your paint. You've got to steal it. Like, that's like the person you got to do. You got to nick it and all this sort of shit.
I guess so. It can't be tracked back to you. Yeah.
No, it was just what they did. It was just like, that was, you bought that. I stole mine. That means that you're pretty cooler than already.
So
then
the one-upmanship.
Yeah, definitely. Follows his, like, evolution into stencil art. That's where he would, just he'd prepare this piece of paper, cut it up, put it on, and quickly spray it. It was a lot quicker to do at the time, and it made them be more detailed. That allowed them to bring social commentary into that. Then it comes to these, like, staged events. He dressed up as a man, as like an old man, like a bum almost, and went into all these. He went to the Tate Gallery, and he went into other sort of museums and pinned some of his work onto the wall as if it was existing there. And some of them stayed in there for hours, and in one case it stayed there for about 3 days. So there's that. But then, like, so obviously it's all building up kind of publicity. There's the one at Disneyland where he put like a mannequin dressed in a Guantanamo Bay orange overalls, and he stuck that into inside this roller coaster ride at Disneyland in Florida. Then he went to the West Bank. So it was like fucking where they built this big wall to separate Israel and Palestinians from mixing, and he would just like draw on that, like as if the wall was crumbling and it was paradise at the other side of it. And he even made a hotel. There was this like crumbling pub. He bought it and made it into like this hotel. It was like really desirable place to be, but it looked onto this wall. So did all these things, building up his reputation, right? But now he's like huge. He's named, everybody's heard of him now, right? He's doing
the West Bank ones. That's a massive. I never knew that he went all the way across there. And
great,
stuff.
It's great. It's
crazy.
Did some of his best work there. So it talks about he's not in it, although they take pieces of things that he said and voice it by actors. But what's really interesting is people who, like his best mates in it, and guys that he went out with in Bristol and London and all over, they're all in it, and they talk freely about what they were doing. So great. And to be honest, you're watching it. It's not just about Banksy, although it's a big part of the story and everything like that. But you're just kind of taken in by these people as well. But I mean,
I can't believe. Can't believe you went on and starred in Art Attack for all those years as well after this. That was madness.
But obviously, like, I don't care who he is. I don't want him to come up. It's probably better that he doesn't. But what does get me is that he starts out, and there's a big theme through it, as I've mentioned, that art's got to be free, it's got to be accessible, right? But then he's selling pieces for like 10 grand, 15 grand. Like his agent, we call him agent, they're just making it up. But they're putting on shows. So it's him, Banksy, this guy, and somebody else. And they two are on the show, and they're just saying, well, what are you willing to pay? And they'll just put another zero on it, and they'll just say, okay, I'll pay that. But they're kind of caught up in this thing as well, because if they were selling things for £100, the people would then sell it for £1,500 or, £5 grand.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're getting fucking done here. So, there's that.
Scalpers, yeah.
There's that sort of tension.
They've got to kind of try and make sure that they're putting themselves more at the top end so that they're not.
Yeah.
Feeding the animal as it was.
Wasn't there a Banksy one? I might be getting confused with someone else, but like it was an exhibit, and then as soon as they kind of unveiled, it just went straight to a paper shredder or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's his most recent big sort of thing.
At that point, I don't know who that owns. You know what I mean? Who's laughing at it? Because I'd be like, okay, that was a waste of 5 minutes.
The craziness about that was it went up in price.
It doubled
after it doubled in price
more
after
than
it went.
doubled. In fact,
twice the art.
Yeah,
twice the art.
Yeah, because obviously,
I guess it kind of mocks the art world. Yes,
and that's what he does. That's what he does a lot. And there was one good one where he would it didn't go quite a lot into this. It was only like a 3-minute bit, but he built up this artist, like this. He's basically a fake artist, so he made up a lot of hype about this guy, right? This guy got the works through him, and he put on this huge event with all this stuff that this fake artist supposedly did, and there was a lot of attention drawn to this, a lot of people in this gallery, and outside, Banksy paid the guy to just be at a stall, just like a market street stall, with actual Banksy pieces, right? And obviously nobody went near it, because they're all fucking outside looking at all this fake shit. And some girl from New Zealand bought the thing for about 50 quid, like this piece, sold it for 125 grand later on. So that's that's him getting at the art world. Like, look, you're all drawn in by this hype, but the real, supposedly valuable stuff is outside. And then the Sotheby's piece was a bit like that as well. You got all this hype and paying over the nose for this piece, and then as soon as it's sold, he shreds it. But yeah, and as you say, is it ironic? Is it? I don't know that it actually increases the value of it.
He probably knew what he was doing there, doesn't he?
I don't think you'll see. It'll be interesting to see what he does next.
because he had the stall. Well, not the stall. When he went to New York, it was Banksy takes over New York, and he done one kind of exhibition every day for the whole month of whatever month it was, and it would just be like he would take over one area or one desecrated parking lot. There was what was it? It was like a destructed land, Disney destruction land or something like that.
Oh, Disneyland.
Yeah, that was it.
Disneyland. That's in the UK. That's near that's near Bristol. I think I want to say Bognor Regis. But, yeah. He's doing crazy stuff, and I'm not going to call him a sellout because, like you say, if Brad Pitt's coming into your show and wanting to pay all this money for it, fucking take it. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good one.
No, definitely recommend that one.
Well, I watched the documentary as well, which would be right up your street, I think. And it's just a way to come out, or it's just coming out in the last week or so. And it's called Tiger. So it's the new Tiger Woods documentary done by HBO Max. So it's a two-parter. The first one was about 2 hours. Second one, Christ, I've lost track. I think it might have been about 2 hours as well, but it got delayed following his crash and stuff like that. I think they kind of postponed it after his horrific car crash. Get well soon, Tiger, because I know you're a big fan of Krusty's Third Nipple podcast. Yeah, exactly. Hope you're listening. If you do, just hit the like button, mate, and smash the shares. So it's a pretty decent documentary. It's a lot of it's kind of done from his caddy side of things. Obviously, he's
which
not really.
Is it Steve Woods?
Yeah. He's the one that was with him for the vast majority of the time, all the way through.
Yeah, he's not with them anymore.
Peak Woods. Yeah. And it starts off when he was younger, when he was on his game shows and stuff like that, and he's
Steve Williams. Obviously, it's not Steve Woods.
Illegitimate son.
That would have been the big nail biter of this episode if it was. And Caddy was actually his brother. Blacked up, whited up even. So just kind of follows his career from the get-go, and it does look in depth into how his dad had such a major part of his life, which we all kind of knew and seen the good and the bad of that, but it does show you exactly how bad it was. There's a part where his dad's taking him to a certain, it's like an army base, military golf course, and there's a guy that he goes there with, but there's just a little Winnebago at the side where they just bring girls along, and Tiger, when he's like young, early teens, he's getting kind of subjected to seeing this type of stuff, that his dad's just going away and having sex with all these different women and stuff like that. So it gives you a wee kind of insight, and the guy that's kind of says this, he's like, oh shit, right, hold on, don't give us 2 seconds. I don't know how he's not going to like this. Let's collect my thoughts before I actually say something. And then he goes for it. And then it brings on his mistresses from back in the day when he's living up in Las Vegas with Jordan and Barkley and just the Vegas showgirls and all this. So it does show the good and the bad, and it goes into great detail with the good, because let's be honest, that's the reason why we love him, because what he fucking does with a golf ball and golf club is just unreal. The US Opens, where he's more or less broke his leg and he still fucking smashes it. You see him fucking hitting just crazy ass chip shots from fucking all over the place. He's an alien. That's as far as I can see. There's no way that any other person in this planet can.
That's
do
interesting. I've seen a few like Sky documentaries, obviously focusing on the sports side, and they do go into personal stuff, but not to the extent that you're talking about his own man. So that's good. That's probably making it watchable. Yeah.
It's it does have the good kind of crossover barriers on each of them, where they do interview his ex, the girl who was kind of showing all the celebrities around in Las Vegas, and he was seeing her for years, so they interview her for a wee bit and stuff like that. But it takes you right up to 2019. That's as far as it kind of gets to.
Okay.
But
so it doesn't really get his full comeback then. Well, not his Masters win anyway.
No. It's just I think it's just shy of his Master win.
Oh yeah, his Masters was just in November there. So that's unfortunate, because if you're going to do because now he's had his car crash, it's probably that's him done.
If they added that on to the end of this, that could have well been
like a book does
done well. Yeah,
a special extended edition. If you do that, then that'd be great. Another episode.
It's kind of like
it could well be because it was like a two-parter. Yeah.
It's kind of what made The Last Dance so special, because they just waited like 30 years, so anything big that would have happened would have already happened.
It's a lot harder for golfers because.
Yeah, well, there was another interesting thing about The Last Dance. But most interesting thing is that Jordan's quite quiet usually, is he? Like, not in person, like home, but
yeah,
he's a little brash character. But in terms of speaking about this and sort of thing in public, there was next to nothing on that, was there?
Well, that's the same with Tiger Woods. I mean, it kind of shows you how his character is. When he was younger, there's a couple of wee videos of kind of home videos where his girlfriend at the time, and you see him acting the whole tomfoolery and all this. And then she goes on about how his parents just totally had him so strict and so regimented that he wasn't able to enjoy his childhood, essentially. And the videos that they've got and how they kind of almost pushed her out, basically, shows how his personality kind of goes along within his golf.
I see as well that your pal Oprah has got a credit in this year, Pierre.
Does she? No, I didn't see.
Oh, you missed it.
Oh, no, no, actually, what am I talking about?
Oops.
Me and Oops. I see her that often. I forget what she's been in and what she's
just on nickname terms with Oops.
Exactly.
Like your Facebook or Twitter post, the world through Tarig's eyes.
Speaking
did we
of
actually add her in that box?
I'm looking over into the living room just now, right, and Leah's watching the Oprah Winfrey interview. She's fucking everywhere.
God, she's everywhere. I can't stop. I can't see it.
Man, brilliant young woman.
Unstoppable.
I'm sure we'll probably discuss the Meghan Markle thing next week, potentially.
Let's not.
Don't know.
It does.
So it's my final movie of the week or the fortnight. My Dutch friend was just like, "Hey, I'm kind of bored. Do you want to just watch a movie?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we hopped on Discord and he just streamed it from his computer, and he chose the 1991 Showdown in Little Tokyo, and he said it's one of his favorite movies. Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee from The Crow, and Dolph Lundgren from like Rocky IV, Ivan Drago, and so they're both cops assigned to try to track down this kind of Asian Japanese crime lord. What's his name? Yoshida. I think that's his name, but it's just a.
We're not going to correct you.
It's Yoshida. According to this,
I see Dad.
Yoshida.
I see Dad searching. So, Yoshida. So it's just a great film, and it's quite rare. I was saying to my friend to see Dolph Lundgren as the star of the movie. He's normally a villain or like a side character, and it's like, and he said, "Well, yeah, he doesn't have like the best English skills, or like he doesn't have quite quite the same chops as maybe like an Arnold or something like that. But in this one, he really shines. And so him and Brandon Lee had to take down Yoshida, as I said, but they had to fight their way through. So it's either martial arts, guns, or cars, or like just any way they can, or Uzis and stuff. And they have to, because Dolph Lundgren, when he was younger, he saw Yoshida murder his parents. And he knows because he's got like a big chest tattoo, very Yakuza style with the dragon and everything like that. And it's not a film heavy on plot, but it's just great with the action, and it's just a thrill ride essentially. I was just like, whoa, the whole movie. But yeah, it's one of those movies that I never would have heard of or would have watched. So it's good to have friends from like. It's good to have friends, but like friends in different countries as well, and they were like, "Oh well, this was on all the time," or over here, or this is just something I watched growing up. And so he stuck it on, and it was just amazing.
It is a great movie. The person who got me to watch that movie was my nana, who was a big Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee, blow it up as much as possible fan. And I remember watching this back in the day, and yeah, I loved that film. It's brilliant. Dolph Lundgren at his best, and Brandon Lee, who chucked my son's namesake in there.
I am. You can Google images of this film, and what's
I remember him jumping over a car on one of the scenes.
It's Spider-Man style. Yeah.
Oh, what's it? It's like a thingy, Turkish baths.
I see that.
Where he
picture,
plugs him with like a hose and blows him up with water.
Yeah, this big fat guy. Yeah, so he's kind of having a tussle with him out of the water, and he's just like, "Oh well, I'm not." I'm not getting you for strength, and you're holding me underwater, but I've got this hose I can shove it right in your mouth until you just. It's great because a lot of times they just kind of. I don't want to say bump into to Yoshida. They track him down, but they don't have, they're always outmanned, they're outgunned. And there's not a lot of police work in this film, I do say, but that's not what you're here for. You're here for them busted heads, taking names.
Films like that,
it's so much fun.
I've always been a wee bit dubious to go back to watch films like that because you enjoy them when they were, and you know that they might not age well. There's quite a few films that I've kind of thought, I wouldn't mind watching that again, and then you get put off because you see a trailer of it and it's like, oh my god, them graphics are so bad. I really don't want to see it. I mean, the new Mortal Kombat that's coming out, that looks really shit hot for kind of what it is. It looks dead gory.
The trailer.
And then we've seen that.
And then there's a YouTube clip that we could maybe chuck up on Facebook or whatever, of the old Mortal Kombat trailer and the new Mortal Kombat trailer.
Okay.
And if you watch them two together, you're just like, holy fucking shit. How the hell did people make movies like this? I could do better on my phone. And that type of thing puts me off of going back and watching films like this. But seeing it for the first time, Dan, with all the new tech that you've even got, you still think it'll hold up next to a shitty film in this time?
I think the Mortal Kombat movie, the original one anyway, from what I've heard and seen, I think it's just got so much kind of goodwill and kind of camp and fun. I don't think you'd be like, oh, cringe. It's not going to be cringeworthy. It's just going to be like, and the theme as well. The Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, to say camp, I think the Street Fighter film was camp as fuck.
Oh, fucking like Kylie Minogue kicking him out.
Yeah, like that was, I think at least Mortal Kombat had a bit of like grittiness and...
Get over here.
But going back to Showdown in Little Tokyo Dads, there's a picture here where the two of them are on like these grilled racks and they've got like wires in them. What's going on there? Are they getting electrocuted?
It's tortured, yeah. And you're kind of getting like... Well, it's kind of mixing with the Japanese... Well, no, they're mixing kind of brutal kind of like electrocution with the Japanese kind of acupuncture, like the little things, the needles or wherever they stick into people. So everything's got to have like a Japanese touch to it.
Aye, okay.
Otherwise, you're not in little Tokyo. Well, one thing I thought quite funny was she just tried to sell these drugs to all the different like gangs, and so you have a gang of kind of like Latinos that you got kind of gang of black people. They got this motorcycle gang, and it's so funny because it's just like it's so kind of.
Let's not intermingle our races.
Yeah, but it's just like this group over here, this group here, you guys over there. That's kind of funny because it's like, because of course these guys would be talking to Yakuza.
Right, I've got one more, but it wasn't great, and I don't know if it's like, as I said to Darren the other day, the only way this is going to be interesting is if it just spoiled the plot. If you guys are up for that, then I don't think you're ever going to watch it, put it that way. All right, okay. Go to your own, Tarig. It's up to your call.
I've got two more, I think. No, I've got three more actually, but one that's a one-liner.
A one-liner.
All right. I'll quickly just talk about.
Go for it.
Tyson versus Bruno versus Tyson.
Okay.
The Sky One documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of follows a lot of the whole Bruno versus Tyson fights that we've had in the past. After being beaten from Tyson, Bruno kind of goes not off the rails. He comes back from the big fight as a big celebrity in the UK, and when he's doing that, he's getting on all these different TV shows and stuff like that. But he has just been beaten from Tyson, and he goes to the Sports Personality of the Year award show, and Mike Tyson gets the International Sportsman.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're giving him the award, Tyson's on the screen. No, Tyson's on the screen, and Bruno's kind of just in the audience. Uh-huh. And I think it might be Des Lynam actually, probably that was hosting that at that point. Mm-hmm. And they're talking to Tyson and going, "Oh, well done, congratulations." And Bruno's like, "Oh yeah, well done, congratulations." And then kind of close it off, and then they go, "Well, that's great of Tyson. He's won the heavyweight championship of the world. Now let's look at your last performance." And they turn to Frank Bruno, and they put up a clip of him dressed up as a clown on Noel Edmonds' house party.
Oh wow!
It's like the guy's just been beat from fucking Mike Tyson. He's just been given an award, and you're kicking him in the fucking teeth. Fucking is awful, but it was a really good documentary because it talks a lot about kind of Bruno's mental health problems, where he was so going for the title, he was so needing to kind of get it. That was his kind of main mentality, but he was such a larger than life character, and he was a placid type of guy when he was out the ring, but people kind of seen that as him being an Uncle Tom, kind of being more whiter than what he should have been, which isn't fair because you can be whatever the fuck you want in this day and age. But then only 20 years ago, you're seen as bending to the whim of the white man and all this type of jazz. And he, that kind of, I think that really affected him quite a lot. At the end of it, you get to see them two meeting up again, because they had two fights. He got beat twice from him, and then he goes out to LA or wherever Tyson's got his weed ranch now, and it's really good. You could see that it's good for Bruno, more for Bruno than for Tyson, because he could see that Tyson was going through all these different issues as well to a higher degree than Bruno was, and he was able to overcome it and kind of sees the other side. So, yeah, it was a Sky One documentary thing. It was just last couple of weeks that was out as well. Fairly recent.
That's interesting, because we've talked about Tyson in that period of his life before, when he was building up to do the kind of exhibition fight. And
the players get themselves so like ready for war that
Yeah.
if they lose, it's so crushing, and it's such a big stage. The whole world's laughing at them.
But Tyson being on his weed ranch was like almost fully recovered, wasn't he? He was so chilled. He was a different person from Iron Mike. And so, that's interesting to see Bruno speak to that sort of Tyson, because all he would have known is the other guy. The guy.
But you can just see how different they are as people. It's just mad that they're still battling when they were in the ring. How hard they were battling, and it's dead good. I know how hard it is to battle and win these different things.
Right, what's up next, Dad?
Long Shot on Netflix.
Oh,
we've seen that.
I'm not sure if you might have, I can't remember if we discussed this or not. It's about Juan Catalan he was up for a murder charge, but his alibi was when he went to Dodger Stadium.
Oh yeah, this is quality.
It's only like 45 minutes. We put it on, and
it's really
absolutely. I was just like, "What the fuck? This is brilliant."
Yeah.
Have we actually discussed this on here?
No, but me and Dan have seen it. Or did you watch it, Dan?
Who recommend? We watched it together. It was Liam, your brother Liam. After we went out to tea with them, they started raving about this. This I think it might be Mark.
I'd already watched it, but this is.
I'm glad you've watched it. Well,
this is a great 40 minutes of TV.
I don't want to spoil that that one show that it discusses, because it's a fan favourite for all of us. The show, but anyway, right. So it's about a guy who's up for a murder charge, and his alibi is he went to a Dodgers game when this murder was meant to be committed. So he needs to make sure that he proves how that he wasn't where he was meant. He was where he was meant to be, and there's lots of wee bits and bobs that I'll pick up. I'll come around. Like there was cameras here, and then the lawyer's got to go and watch a camera for every kind of second to see if it picks his face up at the exact point. And then you think that he's actually got the camera angle of the picture of the camera picture of the guy. Sorry, easy for me to say. And then it's not the right timing, so he could have even left the stadium and went and committed the murder and then done whatever he needed to do.
And they go to the phone records too, don't they? Like not the phone records, but the phone triangulation points, and that puts him at this point and between this time and that, and they're still saying, you could have got across town. He's at a ball game with his daughter, right? And they're still saying, no, you could have got across town in 20 minutes and committed this murder. He's like, that's fuck.
Yeah, and it's so corrupt as well, and
they just wanted somebody for it because it was urban crime going into the suburbs, shall we say?
Suburbs, that's it.
And they wanted
like
somebody. Yeah.
If anybody's got 45 minutes spare, chuck that on, because the twist at the end. Well, not even at the end. There's just how he gets acquitted is just amazing.
Yeah.
Aye.
It's unbelievable. We almost wouldn't even do it justice if we just said what happens here.
No,
definitely.
You need to watch it.
It's coincidental after coincidence after coincidence that helps this guy get his freedom, because it ends up being a death row charge as well.
Yeah, and remember they put the daughter in the dock.
In the stand, yeah.
Yeah, fucking awful. That was rough.
I don't think they were able to do that, but
I don't
Americans carry a gun.
It's so weird. Like you could be
armed people.
You could just be a guy, and then the law could just come after you because it's just what you are. You
look kind of Hispanic.
Well, he was Hispanic.
He was Hispanic.
You match the description, you know.
Yeah, but I've not got a tash. I've not got that wee hairy bit underneath my chin.
Careful, Tarig.
Oh, well, tough shit. Right, over to you on your.
No, I'm not going to do it. I've already deleted it.
Right.
No.
If anybody cares, it was Behind Her Eyes. It was that series. If you really want to come
my mum watched that.
Oh, really?
And I watched in the last minute, and I think I got what the whole I got all the impact of the show for the last minute. Yeah.
I mean, it does have
I didn't have to.
Is that twist worth sitting through the whole thing? I don't know, but
yeah,
that's why.
From what my
really,
it was a mind blowing.
I'm never ever going to watch it. No.
If anybody's going to watch Behind Her Eyes, switch this off for and then skip forward about 3 minutes. Here goes. Right, boy meets girl. Right, bumped into each other in a pub, and they kind of shared the wee kiss, but they really got on really well. It turned out she's a single mum. She goes to work the next day. Turns out he's her new boss. Also, he's married. Right. So it goes on, and the affair sort of picks up. Okay, goes full blown. But also, she bumps into the wife and ends up kind of feeling sorry for her, and then becoming really good mates with her. So she leads this sort of double life between the two. Right. Wife eventually finds out he's just like a psychologist or something, but he's drugging his wife up to fuck. So she's got this strange erratic behaviour that you think is caused by that, and then they dip into, they sort of allude to the past and why they've have to move to this new place in the first place. You never really get there. So her past is that she was... I can't even remember. No. Wow. Well, you say that. Hold on. Right. So she's in this sort of rehab place, right? And she becomes really friendly with this guy in there. He's gay, but he lets. They got on really, really well. But he didn't get any of this because obviously what I've said in the thingy is enough for a drama anyway. That's just interested enough, you would say, like for a stick it on with your wife sort of thing. But long story short, her pal, when they both get out, introduced her husband, so he comes and stays with him for a while. And she's rich, she's married, she comes with money. So they're in this castle, and the two rehab pals, he introduces her to this out of body experiences. I think they take heroin and then they do something, and then they almost like become a butterfly out of their
soul comes out,
yeah, and they can. And if you've been someplace in real life, then you can imagine yourself there, and you can almost like fly there in a spirit, and then go and see stuff, and then come back, and you know that. So that's how the wife knows about her husband's affairs, because she just pictures herself in these places and goes and all this, right?
And stalks her husband, yeah.
And just for kicks, right? The pal, the guy, says to the woman, let's, when we've done this, go into each other's body. So your soul flutters back into each other's body.
Freaky Friday style.
Yeah. Just like roll with it. So they do that, and they start talking, and they're like, oh man, this is dead weird. How cool is this? And then she gets a bit freaked out. She being in his body. He being in her body, he's like, nah, this is my plan all along. Kills her. Kills his former body, right? Kills her, right?
Dumps the body,
Dumps the body. So he's now living within this woman's body, right? But he's obviously gay, and he was infatuated ever so slightly with the husband. So they carry on living together, right?
Yeah. And that's a secret to the show, isn't it? That,
and this is only
most of the time you've seen her, it's actually been him. His body,
so all this erratic behaviour, it's him the whole time.
Right.
And that kind of explains a lot of the shit. And then right at the very end, this single mum who's been having an affair with her, he manufactures the situation because the guy says, like I said, I'm going to leave my wife because I love you, right? And this guy inside the woman's body knows that because they could flutter away and see all this shit. He manufactures a situation where he can kill her and then go into her body. And so it ends with the psychologist going away with his woman, the single mum who's had an affair, right? He thinks he's got rid of his past and moving on with his new wife who he marries. But but it's the same guy in that body all like now. So he's still with
And
the same
that's
sort of
revealed
person.
right at the end.
That's right at the end.
So they're going to get married, and you think, oh, okay, everything's hunky-dory. Then you realise,
No, it's not.
they realise
actually
the whole time this gay guy's been like basically unraveling this horrible plot.
Yeah.
If I can't have you, no one else can.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and what's quite sad is like the mum and her son, the single mum and her son, have a really pretty cool relationship, but obviously that's gone. That's gone. She's there in body, which is not in spirit. So yeah, there's tells like the son sort of like gives these. What you on about? You know, my mum wouldn't say that sort of thing. But
we're going on a boat.
So do they still get like all the memories and stuff like that?
No, they don't know anything. No. Obviously, they just.
So it's just jump into.
Yeah.
So he's making up as he goes along. So now he has a son and a husband.
Yeah. You imagine that will break down at some point, and the guy will just like feel weirded out, quite rightly, that this is not the person he fell in love with.
That's the thing, though. You can't ever say, "Oh, you just stole my wife, my soul," or something like that. They'll never understand it fully, and that son forever is just his mother's this gay guy, like it's just evil.
Yeah,
and has murdered 2 people.
So Taz, you probably saved yourself about 7.5 hours just catching that. But
I just kind of strolled in, and then my mum's like, "This has got my dog and jogging this whole thing right at the end." Because you think it's going one way, it's going another.
Yeah.
But
see, this has saved
so
me.
well for me.
Oh, this has definitely saved me. As he's mentioned it, and said, "Oh, that looks quite good." Let's watch
it and see. Or you just watch it with her.
That revealed to my mum's reaction.
Tarig, why don't you watch it with her and just say, "Bet ya," right? Hear me out. But I've got a massive hunch here.
No.
Right. Go and say this because this will prove my point that Izzy's not been listening to the podcast all the way through.
Oh, okay. Well, my mum's. I'd say it is a slog. Mum was saying, but I was watching my mum's reaction to this as it was first like unraveling, and she was like, "Whoa, it's a twist of my melon."
Yeah, no, it's fair to go. My sentiment is exactly. It was a just hurry up and finish sort of thing. Then that happens, you're like, holy shit. So yeah, I'm sorry if it spoils somebody that opportunity, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I've got one.
That was in a 2-hour movie. That it'd be one of the best twists of all time. But it's in this long Netflix show, and it's like.
Fire away, Tarig, your last one.
Last thing, I Care a Lot on Amazon Prime. It's got Rosemead Pike and Peter Dirkland. What's his name from Tyrion?
Dinklage.
From Game of Thrones. Dinklage. Aye, that's it. Sorry for killing your last name, mate. Dinklage. So it's got a good premise to this movie. Woman takes guardianship of people and then starts fleecing them dry until she picks the wrong woman, and it's kind of hidden gangster's mum who's Peter. It's fucking a load of shite.
Really?
Honestly, the biggest barrel of fucking shit that I've watched in a long time. It's been the first movie in years that I've not actually finished watching because it pissed me off so much. Yeah. So please don't watch it.
It's got Shia Whitlock Jr. in it, who's the she. Right.
Yeah. You didn't say that. Potential was there. You didn't get any shit. Even because Dinklage, how do you say his name?
Dinklage.
Yeah, Dinklage, Jesus. Because Dinklage is a small person, they try and shoot all these shots so he looks like he's kind of normal size as well.
Really?
But you can totally, yeah. It's almost, you can see how they're trying to kind of put the camera low and keep him up high, and it's just, it's really, when I watched the trailer, me and Izzy were like, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be really good. And she passed out, and which is bog standard. And then I was just like, man, I fucking hate this movie. It's so shit. I started off well and then just fell flat on its pass. So yeah,
right on that.
Stay clear.
Oh, another thing is a little fucking bugbear. I mean, like Behind Her Eyes. Last thing, this psychologist guy is a Scottish guy, and like he's portrayed by an English guy. Because there's no Scottish actors out there. Do you know what I mean? Fuck you.
Uh-huh.
On that, we're going to move to the quiz. So you've heard us stutter through a few episodes now, and if you're thinking I could do better than they 3 Napes, then you're probably right. You can even do it right from your mobile phone. The free Anchor app has all the tools to record and edit your podcast, and Anchor will do all the distribution to places like Apple Podcasts and Spotify for you. You can even make money right from the start. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Here's Tarig's mother-in-law to tell you more.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
There you go. Simply download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Just remember to plug in your mic.
The best place to listen to Krusty third Nipple. It's nice.
So we're back with this week's quiz. I haven't won one yet. Darren, you beat me. Tarig, you beat me. Who won the first one between you two? Was it Tarig?
I've never lost a quiz yet.
Oh, undefeated.
probably was Tarig. I'm more of a dog guy.
A belt or something.
Yeah. You know what else you should have done is flip the coin here, because I don't even have a coin. This is going to go well. Right, go and do audio again.
There's no overview.
Let's get the camera set up right.
Yeah. Right. Scissors again. Are you guys fucking mad for the scissors? Right, go, you two do it.
Rocks again.
Two rocks. Go on.
Right, Oh, for fuck's sake.
Paper covers rock. Yes.
I'll take it. I'm not that first.
Right, okay. So, Darren, you're first.
We got Dad.
Right. This is, because I couldn't think of anything and didn't we want to be doing different questions, I've come up with a different format for this quiz. It's based on someone you guys are going to love. It's the Infinity Saga. Okay? As you guys will know, when nobody else gives a fuck about, Infinity Saga was the 3 phases. Does that mean anything to you?
Yep.
The movies were released in phases, okay?
The Marvel MCU, by the way. Yeah.
Yes.
In case you can't remember.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yep.
Phase 1 is 6 movies. Phase 2 is 6 movies. Right? What I want you guys to do, Darren, you won that, so you go first. Phase 1.
Okay.
Give me the films and the order.
Okay.
Okay, this is it's a hard one actually. Okay, so I'll go phase 1. Okay, I'm gonna go.
So you, I mean, I could. What I was thinking about changing this, I can give you the films and you tell me what order they were in, or you can just guess the first 6. I think guessing the first 6 and putting them in order is quite tough. But have you guys, you up for it?
I guess them.
Well, we can see it. We might have to phone a friend in you.
And if you get all the movies.
So just name the movies.
Maybe not even in the right order.
Right, so just name the movies, any order. So that's what the first 6. Yeah, do that then. Give me the first 6.
I'm gonna go Iron Man. I'm gonna go Incredible Hulk. I'm going to go Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
good
go
shout on that.
Thor.
I want full titles.
Thor. So it's 4, I think. Buddy, who else was in this movie? Play Iron Man 2. I think they made a sequel. Oh God, who else? There's 5. Is that it? Is that the build?
No,
I was going to say
6.
Avengers. The first Avengers.
Okay. Right, Tarig, phase 2.
Fuck. Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Iron Man 3, Thor The Dark World, Captain America Civil War, and Avengers Age of Ultron.
Okay, so that's 6 each. That is 6 answers that you've given to each.
Fucking.
Let's start with you.
Okay, no.
I'll go through them in order, right? So from 2008 to 2012 was phase 1. Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, the First Avenger, and Marvel's The Avengers. 6 out of 6.
That's fucking.
Oh, it's the order as well. It
wasn't quite the order. But
almost.
We'll go for that. Right. Tarig, phase 2, 2013 to 2015. Iron Man 3. Thor, The Dark World. Captain America, The Winter Soldier.
What did I say?
Civil War.
Civil War.
Which is like, even I know
the Winter
that's
Soldiers were shite.
Even I know that's not a Captain
Well, no,
America.
the Winter Soldiers were the better ones.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. Which gives you 4 out of 6. Darren, you've defeated the so-called undefeated champ. Well done.
Well done.
Thank you. Yes.
You beat it.
I don't know, but from
lost the audio on the out, and then you just lost straight after.
Right, exactly.
If you had the audio on the out, you would have got it.
Twice loser.
Cheers, mate.
Make him feel better.
From an outsider, I thought the first 6 would be easier.
Oh, definitely. Aye.
But
yeah,
there we go. You put yourself on the pedestal.
That's right. Well, mighty has fallen. We'll come back next week. But a fucking hard as fuck quiz for you two.
Oh, Darren won't it? Oh, wait a minute. What doing? You sticking to the order or? Doesn't matter, does that? Whoever takes me out is going to beat me anyway, so does it?
Exactly.
Unless you go golf or something like that.
Yeah, go do a golf quiz, yeah. Steve Woods. Right, next we're going to talk about Birdman.
And welcome back, ladies and gents. And now we are away to go and discuss my pick from 2 weeks ago, sorry. And it was Birdman. The main reason I picked Birdman was because I had a flatmate called Birdman who was batshit crazy. And if you're listening to this, how you doing, Birdman? I hope you're still taking baths in a fucking sink. Because the first time I seen him, he was taking a bath in the All-Stars on Commercial Street Road sink in the kitchen. So, yeah. Hope you're doing well, mate. So Birdman, or I'll give you the full title. It's Birdman or The Unexpected Virtues of Ignorance. It was released on the 2nd of January 2015, so a good 6 years ago now. And the number one, I don't know what we're thinking, song or movie first. We'll go song first. So the number one song was Uptown Funk, Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. So it was the number one song in the UK. Uptown Funky what? Say Uptown Funky what? The number one US box office was something that I've still not actually seen. I've went through the other trilogies on this, but it was The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. I've never went to The Hobbit yet.
No, I've not been to The Hobbit either.
Yeah.
Nah. After 9 hours of
I'd
one
seen
thing,
the
like-
other two. I saw the other two Hobbit films, but I just never got into this one because I think the cliffhanger, the second one is the Smaug, the big dragon, comes out,
Yeah.
and then it's kind of like I remember watching it, but like, yes, come on, he's about to do something. He's about to do something. He's about to do something. Cut the black one. 3 hours. 3 hours.
Here comes next year.
A couple years later, I just sat down. I didn't want to see the stupid dragon.
You let us down the first time, so fuck you.
Yeah.
And the UK box office, we had The Theory of Everything.
Okay, yeah.
It was decent. What's his name that stars in Theory of Everything?
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne.
We've talked
Reminds me of
about
Mark.
that before. Oh, well, okay, yeah.
I think he looks like Mark from our last special guest on. So if anybody's a big Eddie Redmayne fan, yeah, give it a shout. We'll be able to hook you up with Mark's number potentially.
Mark's hooked up now, so maybe too late on that one.
Oh well, maybe yeah. Well, you missed your boat. Sorry, you had a good 2.5 second gap there. So Birdman. I got put onto this by my big brother. He mentioned it to us a couple of years back, saying that it was really good comedy where Michael Keaton, good old Batman from back in the day. It's about a washed-up superhero actor, so true to form with Michael Keaton, attempting to revive his faded career by writing, directing, and starring in a Broadway production.
I liked it. Did you? Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
This won 4 Oscars. Director, picture, original screenplay, and cinematography. Screenplay, that'd be pretty boring.
Screenplay. On the Catholics.
Yeah. I wanna just like flip things on their head here and ask you straight away, what do you guys think of the ending?
I think he flew.
It's a big.
Okay.
Discuss.
Go for it.
I don't know. The ending. He's in the hospital and he's things, just events that happen in the movie, and he jumps out the window, and you think, oh God, is he dead? But his daughter, played by Emma Stone, rushes to the window and looks down and goes like, what? And then looks up with a kind of a shocked. Like lit in her face, that feels surprise and awe. But it's kind of, I don't know what to feel about it, because the first time I saw it, I thought she was on something, because she's like
she's got a drug rehab and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's been in rehab, yeah.
But I don't know, it's just kind of a theme also earlier with the film with if people kind of push to the edge can then perform, kind of like with Ed Norton earlier. Like he can get up, and it's right there under the covers in the big audience. He's pushed to this thing, then he can perform. So I think there's also a couple of things like that where it's like Michael Keaton gets the big surprise and the big like adulation right as he's planning to shoot himself. So it's like people pushed right to the brink and get their best performance. So. It is a possible in the film for him to fly. It's kind of up to the viewer, but I think there's enough kind of hints in the movie to say that maybe he could, and it's not just them being dumb at the end trying to throw something.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah, I mean, there was the time where he was potentially flying, and then you see him just coming out of the taxi. So it is just the concept of it's all in his mind and everyone's mind. Then, but like Darren said, it was Emma Stone's kind of reaction to it, which throws that concept out the way. And the right in the first scene where you actually see him try to move things with his hands, and you think, oh right, or no, not even move things where he's floating, floating in midair, and you think, oh right, well, is this kind of part of this film? Is there kind of the superhero powers kicking about and stuff like that? But for me, I'd like to think that he flew. I'm a glasses half full type of guy. He's All
right. Well, guess what I think? True to form, I'm going to go the opposite of that. I think
he went right down.
No, this is a doom sequence. The whole thing. I think he shoots himself in the head, and he dies. Right? And this, after that, everything after that is him dreaming of how he would hope things to turn out. So, 1, he lives. 2, everybody fucking loves it. He gets not only that, he gets the review that he's been hoping for, and that his adulation is like through the roof. You know, the hospital room's full of flowers. His ex-wife's in there holding his hand. His daughter comes in, gives him a hug. Like, you don't see that. You don't see them kind of having a physical sort of relationship, but she comes and gives him a hug, and he would be able to fly, and he can't fly because. And like you've said with the taxi thing, so the main scene where you think he's flying over the city of New York, and you're thinking, actually, does he? Is this what this movie's about? But yeah, then the taxi driver chases after him, and he's like, "Well, no, you're not paid me for that fare." So you're thinking, no, that he didn't fly there. It's just his imagination. There's a scene where he's got this telekinesis thing going on.
Yeah,
he's got to move objects, and he's just throwing them about. There's one where he's kind of floating and his agent comes in the door, and it cuts to him, and he's holding it.
He's actually holding it, yeah.
Yeah. So he was never floating it. Well, you're led to believe, I'm led to believe that he was never floating it in the first place. And this is all a delusion. Maybe that was one of his powers when he was...
That voice, the voice that was in the back of his head was just the voice in his head.
Yeah. So that's my take on the ending.
Which makes it
I've seen
great because now we've got 3 different kind of views on the same film and the same ending, which is exactly what they've done the movie.
I would say the director was going for that. Yeah, he was leaving it.
Yeah, massive.
Ambiguous, yeah.
And it's good that we've
I've
all
also seen some people saying that that's his soul coming from heaven or something like that, but I don't buy that one more than the other ones that we've put forward.
Right, okay.
But I don't know. That's just to promote another popular theory out there.
Yeah.
Hi.
I like the start. So the start, you hear this kind of the intros is the jazz sort of soundtrack through the jazz drum, and it's all jazz is like by its nature it's like kind of offbeat, and you get these guys sort of like a jazz band would be riffing off each other, and just you don't know where it's going to go. It's going to go up there. It's going to come back down here. You're never kind of settled when you listen to jazz because it's so off kilter, and that's how the graphics at the start, the opening titles are, and that's how the kind of film is, because it's always like on an edge.
He's always thinking on his feet. He's got to solve this problem. He's got to go over here. He's walking over there. Yeah.
So I liked that, and I liked how it's like a theatre play is basically is 1 or 2 unbroken sequences of events. The camera tries to do that in this film. There's like these long takes where it follows someone up the stairs through this room, and then they have another conversation. Then that one's done, and he goes back down the stairs. He's talking on the way of the stairs, and he goes outside. And the camera never cuts through all this. So
I like how it tag teams each person. So it's kind of like as soon as they go and have that conversation with one person, the shot then follows the next person, and then it kind of follows them around for the next 2-3 minutes, and then it's just the next kind of tag team on it. That's
no, it's great. It's great work. I really like that. Whether it's
it's excellent.
Whether it's makes the film better than it is. Like I don't know. I've kind of got mixed feelings on it, but
I tell you, that's the film. It's a gimmick, but
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Does it take over? Does it take over the plot? Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
it's something that you pick out on, definitely. But is it needed? Does it, because it's essentially a play that they're wanting to put together, and plays are always in certain. You get your 2 sections, and then you get your interlude in the middle. Is that what it was trying to do? Were they just trying to make it too long? Long plays, what's it called? Long shots, and then just have.
Yeah.
So was that the concept on it, or was it just kind of that?
Yeah,
it's played out that way because fuck man, it must have been hard to do that.
Looking at the trivia here, because the film's designed to look like one shot, like in post-production, no scene could be taken out or cut or edited.
Yeah.
So they had to perfect every single scene. And the script taking so long to finish because not only had you got to get into that room, you got to see everything, you got to go to set up future stuff, but you got to pay that off and then set up into another room. And it's just, you can't imagine having all these moving pieces. But a little fun thing here was given the unusual filming long takes, Ed Norton and Michael Keaton kept a running tally of mistakes made by the actors and actresses. Emma Stone has been named and shamed with the most mistakes, but the producer Zach Galifianakis made the fewest. But he said he did mess up because his character's so kind of everything's so kind of bottled up in him. And he's so kind of, he's uptight and
he's kind of he's not got the most to lose, but he's got a lot staking on this play going well, isn't he?
And he's been with Michael Keaton for so long, you'd realise how stressed he is. But if he goes it's okay because he could just kind of fill out the rest of the sentence. But everyone else, like Emma Stone's very kind of sure of herself, so she's got to say what she's got to say.
Yeah, it's good to see Zach Galifianakis. I'm great at these surnames tonight. Playing the straight guy, and there's a lot of good one-liners on this as well. I think there is a good bit of kind of comic value in this. One of the lines that what was it? It was when Sam, so Emma Stone, was up on the roof, and she's looking at and she's ready to go and jump. Just sitting on the roof, just having a cigarette. But people are walking past at the bottom of Broadway, and somebody shouts, "Jump!" and she shouts, "Eat me." He goes, "Okay, jump on my face then." So it's just little things. Or when they're in the bar and they're talking about the critic, and Ed Norton turns around and says, "Oh yeah, she looks like you see the woman that looks like she's just tongued a bum in the ass." And
the homeless man,
the homeless guy, and he just kind of turns around and then have a wee bit more chat, and then Norton walks away, and Keaton just kind of goes, "She does actually look like she's just tongued a bum in the ass." It's just fucking. There's loads of really dark black comedy in this. Which makes it flow loads better.
I think something like we're talking about the long shots there. Some of the things that's interrupted it as well is cameramen stumbling over each other, or being up in the wrong place with a shot and stuff. Because you can imagine it was quite tough for them because they've got to know step by step where they are. Keaton was counting how many footsteps it would take for him to walk to this place to turn the corner in time for this next conversation to happen. So it wasn't just knowing your lines or when to hit them and everything like that. It was every single movement had to be in sync. But that's interesting as well.
We got to talk with knowing there's going to be an instrumental behind them as well. I got to speak to that pace of the kind of the lively jazz beat as well. But the whole movie was actually shot in 2 months, and it only took 2 weeks to edit because it was just so tight.
Yeah, I bet it took like 2 years to plan. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, fucking right.
2 years to plan, 2 months to edit, 2 months to shoot, 2 weeks to edit.
Shit, man.
But I'd listened into this kind of like YouTube video about this movie, an old kind of I think it was Alfred Hitchcock anyway. Maybe where he kind of tries to attempt the same thing with the no cuts, and he kind of revolutionized the idea because the camera was someone was walking in the camera with like a black jacket on, and then so he'd cut there and then start again. The guy with the black jacket walks away. So it was kind of a bit clunky at the beginning, but when in this movie, it says there's only 16 visible cuts in the entire film. So if you go through it, you can try and see. But there's one where Keaton and Norton are walking to the pub, and then I think they walk past a drummer guy, and the camera goes straight to the drummer, and it goes right back, and then they're walking away again.
Yeah,
and there'll be cuts like that are like, that's a little bit different, but it looks so smooth. But you can obviously see because they came here with a 5-minute conversation, and then they're about to go into this whole other conversation argument in the pub. So that required a whole new take.
And it wasn't as if it was shot over.
Like
well, it wasn't as if it was set over just an hour and a half. It's set over a few days.
No.
So there's that as well. You know, when he's another reason I don't think he was necessarily magic is one of his dream flying sequences. He wakes up in the street, you know, hungover. Like, so that's not a continuous shot.
Yeah.
You don't exactly film him sleeping and then you wait for him to get up and that. So
yeah.
Exactly.
There's ways around it, but yeah.
Yeah. One of the things with the Hitchcock thing, though, is I think that it just wasn't possible for him to film longer than, say, 12 minutes. It's just, you know, the technology at the time.
Yeah, I think there's stuff like that as well.
Yeah, so you can only do so long. Yeah, he would just like maybe just pan up to the sky and the sky would turn black and then he'd just come back down again.
Or to like a door and then someone would walk in.
Yeah, really.
I don't
really
know.
clever.
He's really talented guy.
How good was Norton in this? I mean, I'd never thought this would kind of be up his street, really.
Well, apparently he was like, it was written by him in mind because he, like, you know how this guy comes in and he's like this, he's a big shot actor stepping down, so-called, to do this play. And he immediately they changed the director's, or the words, or the
script. Yeah.
Apparently Norton's like famous for that. Not only that.
Yeah, it's notoriously difficult,
When the director, whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce, when the director for this film...
Oh, let me pronounce it.
Go for it.
I don't even know what that is. So he picked him out, right, and says, like, oh, this is, I want you to do this. And he looks through it and he loves the script. He says, yeah, get me on. But one thing... See, instead of this, why don't you fucking just change that? And the director says, this is why I got you on. This is why. And then Norton's like, yeah, I know, but this camera should be here. He's like, shut the fuck up.
So initially you think it's meta on Michael Keaton, but it's meta on Ed Norton as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Is it Emma Stone being in rehab? Let's start dissecting this.
She was filming this during while she was filming Amazing Spider-Man 2. And so that's probably why she made so many mistakes, because she was doing two movies at once.
She's done a decent performance in Spider-Man 2 as well. Yeah.
One of the best scenes for me is when she actually rips her old man a new one. When she just shouts at him.
Oh, yeah.
And
when they're having a wee joint.
Yeah, well, I suppose not together. She finishes it, and then she's having it, and he finishes it when she goes away. Yeah, that's like I think probably intentionally the guys are walking about like peacocks, you know, strutting about like we're the stars of the show here. We've got all this at stake. We're coming from Hollywood to show this town how it's done and all this sort of shit. And she's absolutely pegs them down. You're fuck off. What, slags him for not being on social media, slags him for, like, the only people that come to see this are fucking middle class pimps, basically, who their only care is where they're going to go for a coffee and a cake afterwards. You are insignificant.
Who was your favourite character then?
Probably her, to be honest with you. Yeah, because she's the only female with some sort of attitude. The other ones are quite one-dimensional. Like, his ex-wife, right? Oh, what's the reason we split up? Oh, because you threw a knife at me, but I'm still here, like, really caring about how your play's going.
Yeah.
But then that's kind of playing into, he's been Hollywood, he's still rich and famous, and she probably would still be kicking about.
No, he's like, I know they've got a kid together, but she should be like, she was like really, I don't know, like forgiving all these sins, like forgiving the fact that he was a dick to her. Not only that, he was an absolute terror, because what was it? She threw a knife at her or something like that. That all seems to be
drinking drugs involved.
Yeah, that all seems to be. Oh, that's fine. I'll forgive you because you've got it hard. His new girlfriend who's pregnant and then not pregnant. That doesn't really seem to fit in for anything. I don't know.
No, that was kind of feel
counter.
Yeah.
That's being seen. What was the point of that? So the other women in the film, they're just like, nah, really? But nah, I think Sam.
Well, she brought Norton in, and she was his kind of love interest, wasn't she?
Girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. And
then there's this kind of, the other woman is like this kind of stagehand or something like that. Someone else just working on the play. And so after one of the scenes, she comforts Norton's, now ex at this point, and it just kind of throws that at you.
No, that's Keaton's girlfriend.
But I mean, I think that might be the thing. Because you've got all these other different aspects, different characters. If it wasn't done in so many long shots, they would have potentially explored these characters' kind of plot lines a bit more. But there was no need to go into that because the main basis of the movie was to follow Keaton.
Yeah. It's kind of what you said, that the guys are kind of strutting their stuff, and the women are kind of like almost like NPCs in a video game where they're like, okay, I'm in this room, and you press this button to interact and see what I have to say.
Yeah.
But most of it's the guys going around and
and they can do what they want. Yeah, if they walk into this room at that time, the women will be there and they will treat him like this. Yeah, and maybe that's a take on that scene. On that, what it is to be an actor in Broadway, and you do get these guys that are like, yeah, the only way I'm real is on the stage, man.
He's such a poser as well, because he thinks he's so great, but he's like a dick the whole time.
He thinks he can get away with rape and stuff on the stage. That's fine as well. I just get glossed over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the guys get to do what they want in this. The women can kind of just take it or leave it. Well, pretty much take it and stick around. So yeah, but Sam seems to just take no shit, and that's why the thing at the end when she hugs her dad, I'm like, well, that's a bit weird. She didn't really come across as that sort of person, and that was another reason I kind of thought this is a dream. He wants that adulation, but she's never quite given him it.
Well, funny you should say that. It says here that his own words, the ending of the movie, came to him in a dream. So, the Alejandro G. Nitro? I don't know how to say that in the accents. Yeah, it says the end of the movie came to him in a dream.
Yeah, do you know why? Do you know what his original ending was? Is that one?
What?
Right, okay. So the original ending is that. Yeah, so this is probably the Keaton shoots himself. I'm imagining it, and then it cuts to, and then see at the start of the film where Keaton's floating in the room, and there's got a big picture of Birdman on the wall, and Birdman's speaking to him. there's a new actor who's in the room floating with a new poster on the wall, and that character speaking to him. Guess who it is?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you know, it's Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's in the room. Like, he's
Oh, no way.
and
How the fuck are we guessing Johnny Depp?
and Captain Jack Sparrow is speaking to him. So it's almost like
That's the way I want to see it. Yeah.
So that was the original ending.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
That would have worked.
But that's
the dream sequence works as well.
Yeah.
I like it. Like it was like a meta commentary with the other superheroes, so Batman's kind of paved the way as one of the first biggest superhero films. It's an absolute classic. But then he sits on TV and it's like, oh, this kind of this wannabe, this Robert Downey Jr. is becoming this Iron Man. Like what idiot? What's he doing? He has no idea.
Huh.
I think that's what the perception was at the time.
There's loads of meta shit in there.
Oh, the Junior, he's no actor. Here's something you might. Sorry, go ahead, Tarig.
No, I missed what was written because right at the start, you seen on his mirror there was a wee note that said something, and every time the camera panned past it, I kept missing what it was saying. I've kind of thought that might have had something to do with his mental state, or is there
a thing is a thing, not what is said of that thing.
Yeah, that's what it was, and that's kind of he because a lot of his self-worth is derived on what people think of him, and obviously the whole play lives and dies about what the critic has to say. What do you guys think of the critic? Like, and the fact that everything revolves around her, the whole world.
I think how Norton was kind of dealing with her, but
she was painted up to be this, like, just evil, already kind of made up her mind sort of person. Are critics like that? You know, would they just, I'm going to give you a bad review, it doesn't matter what it's like, just because blah, blah, blah.
Because
I think there's a commentary because he was a superhero, in Hollywood, and that was looked down on at the time. And he thinks he's the biggest poser ever coming into the real world, the real acting, and pretending like he's one of them. I'm an artist, and it's like,
he's writing it, he's directing it, he's starring in it.
You are making this all about you big Hollywood. Do nothing.
To be honest, I liked her, and again, this is she was kind of one-dimensional as a baddie, with no budge in her, with no sort of give. When he does shoot himself, and the whole crowd stands and gives him a round of applause, she leaves early, again, which indicates to me that she's made up her mind. She's gone out there to finish what she'd started, and that was a bad review.
Yeah.
And then what you see the next day, she's actually changed her mind and flipped on her head and given him a great review. I'm just like, nah, that's not what she's done.
Because that kind of supports your theory, Dad, because you never see her. We never see her, like, her reaction. Or, like, we see it in a paper, but it's like, and that's why you get the subtitle in the movie, The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance. But it's like, is that true? I don't know, like, how hard would it have been to see her, like, in that crowd standing up, giving that applause as well, if it was all real? How hard would it have been to kind of give that more of a payoff?
Yeah,
I think that would have, that definitely would have given it too much of a payoff if she was standing there clapping along. It was too dark and too kind of pulled through for that type of reaction at the end. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Joker. To be fair, the kind of the balance of the dark and the light, and how the mental disability, mental breakdown of one person, and kind of where he's got these people talking in amongst talking within himself, but you don't know if it's real or if it's fake, and you're going two ways throughout the movie. Is he actually hearing these voices, or is he just making this up? And it's it's the I don't want to keep saying it's done really well, but he has.
I like another payoff with the long shots that we've been talking is he'll walk around the corner and have a conversation with somebody, and the kind of mood of the thing's going this way, and then he'll keep walking, and then he'll have this voice over his shoulder, telling them, "No, fuck them. You know, you're brilliant. You're a hero. Come back. Make Birdman 4 or 3 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
we'll make billions." And you never really cut away from that, because immediately after that, he opens the door and he's in another conversation. So it kind of leads you to believe that this thing's always there. It's always present. It's not like it's only available. It's not like it's cut after that.
Yeah.
It goes dark. It goes to the following day, and that's over now. I can relax. Here's another conversation. It's like no, that's just happened. It's just yeah. So it's really good at that.
So yeah, people with mental health problems, like they don't get a break, and they're always everyone tries to like act like they should be acting normal all the time and stuff like that, and not give them a break. But I do find it quite ironic that after this movie, Michael Keaton goes to play a different Birdman, and Spider-Man: Homecoming comes the Vulture, the villain this time. Yeah,
that's quite good.
So he got all these awards in this movie.
Well, he didn't
got himself bad to serious actor.
Well, he maybe got other awards, but he didn't get the Oscar, because I think we've talked about this year before, and this was when Eddie Redmayne.
But I don't think he got the Oscar, but he gets the other ones and stuff like that, like the Best Picture and stuff. I think so. Michael Keaton, there's no other ones. Maybe Best Directing. That's to the director, but yeah, a lot of it is about him, and to his credit, he knocked it out of the park with this one.
Oh yeah, I definitely think he did. I would go as much as say that we talked about Jake Gyllenhaal should be up in the running for best actor, which Eddie Redmayne got. Why Michael Keaton not have a shout? I think it's probably better.
Such a tough year. Yeah,
I was going to say it's a good year to be kind of watching movies.
But this movie was actually parodied in my favorite show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, was it?
In one of the episodes, Charlie work. So Charlie's the character, gets to do all the kind of guff work. It's all set in like kind of one take again, and like so he comes on, and the gang are trying to do this other scheme, but they're getting visited by the public health officer, and so they're trying to do this thing with like chickens and air miles, and you never really kind of get the full picture like you do in this, like in kind of like Birdman. So he's going to go in and tell the individual characters what they're doing while they come in, give him problems to deal with, and it's exactly kind of like this. It's got the bee in the background, and so he's trying to put on this facade of, trying to win this. Try to pass this award so the bar can stay up, but everyone else is doing really bad illegal things around the public health person. It's a hilarious episode.
Oh, that's really good.
It's exactly like Birdman.
Oh yeah,
I wait for that. I need to get back into that.
Yeah.
I started back onto it after the last couple of episodes we were discussing it.
Yeah.
I think it's a quick, easy watch, is it? If you've got half an hour, just bang them on. I've just got into where DeVito's, I think, halfway through the following season, where he's actually second season in.
Right, okay.
So
I'm still in the first, pretty sure. And then before DeVito, anyway, definitely. See,
I think you're only like an episode 2 away.
Okay.
He comes in.
one thing I read about this Birdman was talked about the cameramen and kind of how hard it would have been for them to be in the right place at the right time, especially for these 20-minute takes and you're going upstairs and downstairs and all this sort of shit. They had a guy who was like really expert with the steady cam, but he had particularly big feet, so they built they built the stairs bigger, like deeper stairs, just for that, so he didn't stumble. Because you can imagine, like, these guys are putting their fucking heart and soul, and it's like minute 19 of 20, and this guy fucking decks it. So that's probably the top thing to do, yeah.
Nightmare.
And as far as editing goes, there was more CGI in this than you think. We've talked about him flying and the telekinesis thing where he's chucking. When there was a shadow over, a visible shadow from a cameraman, they would cut that out, or maybe there was an elbow or something. They would do loads of that. So you go notice it.
Mike Boy popping in and stuff like that.
Yeah, they would just do all that. So there was loads more of this digital editing than you'd realise, but still.
That type of stuff is needed for these types of movies. I mean, if they left, it would have been good to kind of see it all left in as well, kind of a dirty version.
I would like to see the behind the scenes of this if we get our DVD or something like that.
Oh,
yeah, or like the making of it. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because what was the other movie that had done quite a lot of long shots? It was just out last year, year before. It was the war movie where there was one
1917.
1917. That was it. That must have been fucking hard.
That's an incredible film as well.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was that great. I didn't think it deserved Oscars or anything, any type of massive accolade. Yeah, it deserved to be nominated, but I wouldn't have. I would have gave this an award more than 1917.
Okay.
More for the kind of the acting that's behind it, because it's more in your face. That 1917 kind of more went with the long shot, and this is our big thing. This is our main thing of long shot, and then just kind of thought, right, we'll best put a bit of a storyline behind it. This was more of a storyline, and then they used the long shot to kind of help build the movie a lot more and kind of complete it. Right.
Yeah. Another thing here was
on you go.
With the famous scene where Michael Keaton's in his underwear after they get trapped outside. They said they had to film that like after midnight to limit the kind of amount of like bystanders and stuff, and like a lot of people in there are just like, who's that guy? Or like, because it's New York, you can't really cut like things off, and they only didn't want to do it in one scene. And so a lot of people are just like, hey, that's Michael Keaton. What's he doing in his underwear? And obviously the people closest to the camera are like, wow, that's rigging, But
exactly. I was just thinking that. Imagine people were just shouting, hey, it's Batman, but it's Birdman.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to just edit that out. But I was thinking that when he was running through it, I was thinking, no, somebody's bound to have shouted, hey, Keaton.
Yeah. Also in the IMDb is that, well, I don't know how true this is, but after he comes in with the underwear, Elliot is told that Martin Scorsese is going to be in the audience, sorry. And apparently, as he comes in with the underwear, in one of the rows is actually Martin Scorsese sitting there. So I'd have to recheck that to make sure it's true. But apparently,
that's a biggie.
He's told there.
Oh yeah, it'd be good to see.
Just chuck a wee Scorsese in your face. Oh, exactly.
Yeah. Right, listen, Martin.
I mean, he must have. But I mean, even to pitch it to him, saying like, "This is what we're going with, out of work, superhero. He's going to do a play and blah blah blah." surprised he might have wanted to kind of get a wee bit more involved.
Speaking of like long cuts, though, like he did a good one in Goodfellas, didn't he?
Aye.
Yeah.
Awesome. Who was he in Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Joe Pesci. No, Scorsese was like the director, obviously, but really, there's a scene where it's just kind of like one long conversation, and yeah, it was just without a cut, and just builds up the tension that way. So he's done that. I suppose he'd be on board with that from that point of view.
Aye.
Any more trivia, Daz, before we move on to Burn, Watch, or Buy, or you guys got anything else to say about Birdman?
Go.
No, I was quite happy with it. Like I said, I did have quite a feel of kind of the Joker and Joker and Black Swan kind of feel about it. That dark, gritty, kind of different mindset movie, which was good.
Okay, so really Burn, Watch, or Buy, Tarig?
I would say buy.
You'd buy it?
Yeah, I'd buy it. Yeah, I would go back and watch this again.
Daz?
I'll go for watch. It's not one of my faves, but it's definitely you can stick on and get a lot out of it.
I'm the same. It's just a watch for me. I've kind of got mixed feelings with it, and there's a lot to be said about the technical achievements of pulling it off. You know, the planning and getting the script right, the setting right, the stage right, the steps,
the labyrinth, yeah,
for this to be pulled off. But part of me thinks that it's so meta that it almost like excludes people from enjoying it, unless you're a stage actor, a Hollywood actor, a script writer, a cameraman, even anything like that. They would get a lot out of this, and they'd probably love it to death.
All right.
But the way that they keep throwing in these names in there, probably, it throws its. If you're not smart enough to get this, then we don't care sort of attitude. And also, if I was to watch it again, it'd be simply just so I can appreciate the long shots more. It wouldn't be anything to do with the plot or that. I don't think the story is anything to grip me or make me feel emotional in any way. There's no character that I think, I really want them to succeed or do well or anything like that. It doesn't give me anything like that. So, yeah, if it happened to be on, I'd watch it again. I wouldn't buy it. So that's kind of first three buys that we've had then, isn't it? Since we've started this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I just went by because that was my suggestion.
Not to be.
No, okay. I'm only joking. I like the comical value of it as well, because it had the dark and it had the that little lightheartedness kicking about. It was able to get that balance. I wish they'd brought more of that into it, and that's why I would kind of go back and watch it again, kind of see if there was any that I kind of missed out. But
I did like how Ray was kind of the master of his domain. When he was in there, when he was walking, and he was talking. There's no one it's quite up to his level. I wish I could have got it felt a bit more. Again, the movie's not always about him being in control, but if we got a little bit longer of him just taking charge, that would have been good.
Okay, Daz, you won the quiz. What we'll be watching in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, for next 2 weeks, we're going to be watching I think it was in the 90s, Fight Club. It's a classic. I've never seen it myself, but it's a movie everyone's like, "Oh, you've got to see."
Another Edward Norton movie.
But we cannot talk about it.
Yeah.
What we're going to do?
Right.
I don't know.
So we're going to be breaking the first rule.
Can we just say it? Can we all promise that that's the only time that you make a joke?
Nah.
We're going to forget about this in 2 weeks' time, and Tarig's going to say it again.
Or the next episode is going to be fucking brutal.
Fucking right.
Okay, there's a good link here. Well, obviously Ed Norton. Then let's
carry on with his career.
Another kind of dark film, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and another appearance
psychopath.
of Brad Pitt. And our first
what's her
David
name?
Fincher.
Yeah, and what's the girl from Fight Club?
What? Helena Bonham Carter.
Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah, this is the first time she's appeared on the Krusty's Third Nipple.
It definitely is. Because I would have known that. Yeah.
So it's good. No, great suggestion, does.
Yeah.
On the recommendation, Brandon will have to say.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So we'll give him a shout out and tag him in of this.
We always listen to the fans.
So if you guys if you have suggestions, just start firing them at us. We might start looking into them more and more.
Oh, definitely will. Yeah. Like, share, hit us up with any comments that you'd like to make. Do you want to see Darren tackling his dad with actual real life rock paper scissors on Facebook Live, or a full interview with me interviewing Izzy's mum? No, my mother-in-law, with the Polish mother-in-law. We can try it. We can try it.
Ope's interviewing you and your Polish mother-in-law. That's what people want to see.
Yeah. Let's go for it.
Right, I'll do that. If you like what you're hearing here, don't keep it a secret. Tell a friend, tell an enemy. Search Krusty wherever you get your podcasts. Please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. That would help us a lot. And also check out our back catalogue. This is episode 14 now. So there's a lot to get your teeth into. Last word to you, gentlemen. Goodbye from me. Last word to you.
Goodbye.
Catch you later.